We're slowly getting there. There's still one thing missing. So now we have the license, testing, sales, everything in place, but I mean, just as you can see from GitHub, there's something missing here. And when someone visits your project for the very first time, this is all they see. So there's no indication of how they can use your project, how they can apply it to their own code base, etc. So for this, you need to create a README that will be displayed beneath here, and this will help other users of your software to understand how they can use it, how they can contribute to your project, and what they need to do. So it's both kind of marketing of your project and telling and showing others what it does, as well as being a documentation for the project and also for yourself. So if you write documentation in the README, it remains bound to the project and makes it a lot easier for you to document the changes. All right, so what does a good README actually do? So if we take a look at some of the README files that I have for my personal projects or the Beyond Code projects, this is what they look like. So this is the title of the package that we see. Then there's usually a short description of what it actually does if the title is not self-explanatory. So if someone visits the GitHub site for the very first time, they immediately see the title and then they see what the package is capable of. If possible, I'll add a screenshot if it makes sense. And then I have basically installation guidelines, how people can use the package in their own project and how they can then go and use it. And for Laravel related projects, there's some more documentation, just how they can publish different config files, etc. And then those are explained in here. And then at the bottom, I have a reference to who is credited for this package, so who worked on this. And then I'm also going to reference the license file. So this is the MIT license in this case. Now to get started with your own README file, you can actually go ahead and use the online editor from GitHub. So you can just press the add a README button and then you have this text view if you prefer that, because then you can also see a preview version of what this will look like. Or you can of course just create the markdown file locally and then push the changes onto your remote. There's also a nice website that I find quite useful, especially if this is your very first package, where you can get like a boilerplate of your README file. It's called makeareadme.com. It also explains where the README file should be added, how it should look like, what the basic structure is like, things like that. And you have a nice little boilerplate code that you can just copy and use. So if we were going to do this, then we can put it in here. The title would be Chuck Norris jokes. The subline might be something like, create Chuck Norris jokes in your next PHP project. Then installation would be acquire the package using Composer. Composer require /Chuck Norris jokes. And usage would be, let's take a look again in our tests. Then we can just create a new joke factory and get a random joke. All right, like this. And let's also use the use statement here. So if someone wants to just copy paste the code, it should immediately work. All right. Then this just states that contributions are welcome. Okay, we can leave this in here as well. We have the license. In here, I like it more if it actually references to the license file. So I would just point this to license.md. And this looks pretty good to me. So if we take a look at how the README will look like, we have the title, a short description. We can see how you can install the package. You can have some usage instructions, some contributing guide, and you have the license, which points to the license file. All right, let's commit it right here. And now this is what the project looks like. And this is much nicer. So now everyone that takes a look at your project gets immediately a better understanding of what it does and how it works. So please use your README as both some kind of marketing for your own project, as well as the documentation for your project.